Alright, what is up RGL? I'm MadMega, and this is Mega Man 6. I love Mega Man 6, it's like one of my favorite Mega Man games. I think that a Mega Man game is a great run to do during a boss battle event, right? So, there's plenty of time for me to talk, so let's just get started straight away here. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. Alright. So this is Mega Man 6, like I said. I love this game. It was the last Mega Man game released on the NES. In fact, it was one of the last games released on the NES at all. It was actually not published by Capcom either in the United States. It was published by Nintendo of America because Nintendo of America wanted to release one more Mega Man game on the NES console, and back then the Nintendo as a company had rules about how many different games you could release on their consoles in a given year, and usually it was like a limit of about 5 or so. And so Capcom didn't want to waste one of their 5 on, you know, a game on an old console, right? And so Nintendo was like, okay, well, we'll publish it. So, appreciate them for doing that. We're going to jump here. I have gotten got by these platforms like every single time in practice, so we're going to take it a little cautious through there. Trying to preserve some of my lives here, because there's some dangerous stuff that we're going to be doing as we go here. If you're familiar at all with Mega Man, you know he's all about that jumping, that sliding, that shooting. And so in Mega Man 6, we have, you know, we have the the charged Mega Buster, which we gained from Mega Man 4 and onwards. The slide, which we gained in Mega Man 3. And one change to the Charge Buster, actually, is that from 4, if you took damage, you could hold your charge. In 5, that went away. As soon as you got hit, you lose your charge. Same story here. So if I ever take damage, you know, if I get hurt while I'm charging, I lose that charge. So we're going to try not to get hit while we're charging as best we can. Now, one of the other things, as I said, is the sliding, and that's probably what Mega Man 6 as a speed run is most known for, is its kind of weird sliding mechanics, where if you initiate a slide, you have to keep going. You can't stop, you're committed. It's kind of like a jump in Castlevania, where it's, you're going. Except, if you hit jump again, he'll stop. Or you can turn the opposite way that you're sliding, and those are your slide cancels. So we use those all over the place, and that's one of the most important parts of the tech in this game. So we start with Windman in Mega Man 6, because Windman is relatively easy to fight with a Buster. There's nothing really that you gain from having sub-weapons in his stage to go faster, right? That's really the only reason we go to him first, because in reality the real goal here is to beat this boss. This is Flame Man, and he has far and away the most powerful weapon in this game. One of the members of the community, Mr. Cab, likes to joke that Mega Man 6 should be called Mega Man 6 Kill It With Fire, because that is 100% the way that you play this game. You absolutely, once you get the flame, it'll be your most important weapon. You'll use it all the time. It just does a ton of damage. And we like that as a speedrunner. It makes us get through our screens a little faster here. I haven't hit that one all day. See, I'm canceling. Sometimes I'm having a little bit of trouble in some of these, on some of these, making sure I don't slide off the ledges here. This room is pretty dangerous, not so much because of the enemies or getting stuck in the oil even so much, but the game will eat your input when the oil changes from oil to flame, if one of the flames hits it. And when that happens, it for some reason always seems to be when you are trying to jump or when you're trying to cancel, slide, or whatever it is. And so very often you'll die there. So got through there unscathed, which is nice. This is Flame Man. He's not too bad. He's very weak to wind, so we give him 7 shots of wind, and poof, he's blown away. Like the big bad wolf here. And he's made out of something that can be blown away, but is also flammable, so I guess, you know, twigs and hay. Cool. I don't know. The analogy breaks down. I don't know what you really want from me on that one. I walked myself into a corner. But luckily, it's a Mega Man game, so I get a whole new boss, and I can talk about that instead. And this is Blizzard Man. And one of the other things that I love about Mega Man 6, right, is, so this game has, you know, 8 Robot Masters, like most of the Mega Man games. But one of the things that it does as well is, like, I think it's kind of like logical boss weaknesses for at least some of these guys, right? So, for example, you know, Flame Man hurts Blizzard Man, Wind Man hurts Flame Man. Like, okay, these make logical sense. It's pretty cool. And then it'll all break down after that. But you know, still, it was nice as a kid to be like, oh, I'm so clever, I figured these out. And then you get to you get a little later in the boss list, and you're like, I don't really know what's happening. But as I said, the flame is super powerful. It does 4 damage, I believe, on each shot. It's incredibly overpowered. You can basically just melt most enemies. Whoop. Oh no, we're gonna take this extra cautious here. We don't want to get trapped by these spikes and die. That would be bad. So of course there's the classic ice physics. If we try to stop, we'll slide and all of that sort of stuff. So we're trying to maintain momentum at least a little bit here. That's okay. We've managed to save plenty of ammunition, which is the most important part for Blizzard, man. Alright. So, Blizzard Man's attacks, we're gonna hope he doesn't give us too many rolls. You know, like when you go to dinner and you fill up with the free rolls, we're gonna try not to do that. We don't want to fill up on the free rolls. And we're already starting. Alright. See, we want him to just spawn these little snowflakes. And you know what? It wasn't a bad pattern. Not a bad pattern at all. Only got what, 2, maybe 3 rolls? We can live with that. Gotta watch out for the subpixels, yes. This game is famous, actually, for... So a little video game lore. The way that video games calculate Mega Man's position, it sometimes will calculate a distance that is greater or less than an actual pixel distance, and so it'll be somewhere in between. That's a sub-pixel distance. Sometimes that value lines up in a way that you land on the platform. Sometimes it lines up so you do not. We can control it in some places, but there are a handful of locations in this game where if you're a little greedy or you jump a little early, you just have such a high likelihood of it looks like you landed on the edge, but the game just says no, you didn't, and then it kills you. So we're gonna try to avoid that if we can at all help it. Okay, so that guy takes like 28 shots or 26 shots. He's incredibly strong, but we melt him with 6 of these. So. Again, the flame wall here is incredibly overpowered. It's a great weapon against just about every enemy in the game. Tried to throw a punch at me. I dodged it. No problem. Now, that's actually a place where if you slide, occasionally the game will kill you. Like, no reason why. It just because you're subpixeled the wrong way. Alright, so what I'm doing right now, little scary there. You have, I want to say, like, a handful of frames there to get through those. So you're supposed to open those plants and use them as platforms, but you have a handful of frames to jump on them and immediately jump off, so if your timing's good, that's not super difficult. Alright, now, hopefully, if we do this right, we'll confuse Mr. Plant Man here, and he doesn't know where my position is, so he's super confused. and we were able to get 5 hits on him on one cycle, which is super nice. So what happens there is that Plant Man, when he throws his shield at you, his next action is to go to your X position on the screen. And so what he'll do, if you directly line up with him, is he won't know where to go. So he'll run one direction, the other direction, and then come back and stop it where you were. So that's a way for us to keep him moving around without charging up another shield, and it gives us more opportunity to attack him. It's a pretty neat little thing. So this is Tomahawk Man. This is where, remember when I said that the boss orders like had logical sense? Yeah, that breaks down here, so forget I said anything about it. These guys are named Colton. They're little cowboys shooting their 6-shooters, and they are named Colton, and I think that is adorable. They are my favorite enemies in this game. I want to kidnap one and take it home. They're so adorable. That's a Met Dispenser. This coming up here is I think one of the best backgrounds in the entire NES, anywhere in the system. This shimmering sun background I just think looks so wonderful. Such a neat little bit of parallax scrolling there. It's neat. Big fan. But all right, we're making good time here. Here's a car. We're gonna blow it up. Now, we have to try to make sure we don't get hit by that guy. If you move in there too fast, that enemy will actually stomp you, and they do a ton of damage, so we try to avoid that as best we can. Alright, slide through there. That was a nice little bit of slide chaining. If your movement's good, you can slide under that second guy without taking damage, but it doesn't always work for me because I'm a little... my movement isn't always great, so... Alright, so this is Tomahawk Man. He's honestly one of the more difficult bosses, I think, in terms of... He has an incredibly wide moveset. He can clear the room basically in a single jump if he wants to. His attacks are pretty wide, and you have to attack him with a shield. And like a lot of them, you have to respect the iframes, and I did not. So I'm going to pay for that, but we'll use our PAL suit. So this is one of the cool things about Mega Man X that, or Mega Man 6 that they introduced was instead of the general rush, you get Rush Jet, Rush Marine, Rush Coil. Now you get Rush PAL and Rush Jet still, I guess, but it's a jet suit. And so the PAL suit just lets you charge up a really powerful shot that can break bricks and things like that, but it can only do it at close range. The jet suit actually will be using coming up right here in the next stage, in Yamato Man stage. And I should probably mention, too, one of the things that's super cool about Mega Man 6 is that, if you're familiar with the Mega Man series, you know that usually Mega Man's main adversary is the evil Dr. Wily, the guy with the crazy eyebrows. But in this game, it's actually Mr. X, totally different guy. We'll see him once we unlock the boss, the castle stages as they were. But it's different boss, different bad guy. It's just a bit of change of the flavor of the game. So. Always a big fan of changing it up a little bit. There's only 3 games where you don't have Dr. Wily as the main bad guy, actually. There's 4, which is Dr. Cossack, and 5, which is Darkman. So this is a rare entry in the franchise. So here is our Rush Jet. You see us fly around a little bit. Unfortunately, one of the downsides to when you have either the jet or the PAL suit on, you cannot slide. So you have to walk, and unfortunately for us speedrunners, we don't like to walk, so we don't really get to use these super suits super often. Alright. I love that screen because those 2 enemies, like their heads pop off and then they blow up at the same time. It just feels really satisfying. Alright. This is Yamato Man. He's a really good example of some of the way that the bosses work in this game. So most of the bosses can only do the same thing twice in a row. So he's constantly been switching up. This time I know he's not going to jump, though, because he jumped twice in a row. If he had shot the spear at me twice in a row, I'd known that the next time he was jumping. That's true of a handful of the bosses, actually, is they don't tend to repeat animations, but his is the most obvious. And that is, I think, our 6th Robot Master down. We have 2 more to go, and then we get to see Mr. X and his set of evil bosses. We also picked up some BE parts. Ah, yes, I should mention those as well. If you look, you'll see that there's a Mega Man logo on the top 3 and left boss rooms, and then an empty space, and then the E letter. That means that there's a letter in Tomahawk Man stage. There's a secret exit, so to speak. But they're slower, so we don't go there. The 100% route does, but this is the 80% route. We're trying to save the world as fast as possible, not as completely as possible. And sometimes we just jump into spikes, but that's okay. Considering that that's the first death, and so far I'm willing to take it. And this screen here is relatively repeatable. Go over, there we go. Slide here, take that damage intentionally, and really that's not necessarily the best way to go through all of that, but it's fast enough, and from there we just switch back over to our jet, because these next handful of screens are just so vertical that this is a much faster way to go about it. Instead of having to go all through here, we trade one extra menu basically to skip a whole bunch of not difficult platforming, but time-consuming platforming. I mean, you know, who wants to do that? Oh! So, the Yamato Spear fires in 2 directions. And if you fire one, it fires the next in the opposite direction. So the first one is down, next one is up. I made a mistake on firing one, and then from there, everything that I shot missed. So that's something you have to be aware of. Here's some mad nerds. Shoutouts to Papat. Alright, slide here, a little bounce house. I mean, what kind of castle would it be if it wasn't a bouncy castle? I mean, really. It's the best kind of castle, is a bouncy castle. I don't think anybody would disagree. Alright, so now we have Nightman. The real value to the Yamato Spear against Nightman is that as Nightman comes in here, you'll notice he has a shield. Most things bounce off of that shield, and that's not fun. Luckily, the spear here is just like, what shield? I don't see a shield. Right through the shield we go. So that is Nightman. We have one more Robot Master to go before we get to fight the castle stages of Mr. X. But here we'll get a mace ball shot. And what's cool about the Night Crusher is that you can shoot it in different directions. You can shoot it straight, but you can also aim it up and down. You get 3 directions for it, so it gives you a little bit of utility in some of your fights, which is very nice. Alright, we're going to go for the miracle jump here once, because I think I might actually... Oh, cool, we made it. So, one of the weird things about water in this game is that it can sometimes, like, make you jump full height, even if you didn't press A for a full height's worth of time. It's just a thing that it can do. I didn't mean to charge there. Alright, jump up. Ah, boo. Wow. I don't think I've ever managed to shoot between all 3 of them before. That's pretty impressive. We have upside down water. That's not unnormal, you know. Who's to say what's normal, really? Right, we're just going to have this hit us. That got a little squiffy, but we survived. Well, actually, you know, we'll go grab this extra bit of health here, just, you know, just for the halibut. There's a whole bunch of water around. I'm sure there's a fish of some sort. we'll be switching over to the Night Crusher. We'll get to use that here in a second. In fact, let's do that now. Okay. Some floating sky submarines, I guess. I'm not really sure where those originated from, but there we go. Shoutouts to water that doesn't destroy your bitrate. Anybody that's familiar with Mega Man 2 knows that the water in Mega Man 2 absolutely destroys your image quality. Shoutouts to water that doesn't really do that. Alright, so we're almost through. This is Centaur Man. It says he's... We don't know what his ability is. The title card came up and it said all this stuff. We don't know what his ability is. I'll spoil it for you. He can stop time. He's also part horse. Also, Centaur Man is kind of a weird phrasing, right? Because I think, like, Centaur Man, like, a centaur's already half man, right? So, does that... So is this more man than a regular centaur? Or... Very confusing. I mean... It's hard for me to wrap my head around it. It's right. It's like half horse, or half centaur, half man, which is like by percentages like 25% horse, but like that doesn't add up. All right, here's Mr. X. This is his look. It's a very original moniker, really. I honestly, I mean, when I think of originality, let me tell you, it's the letter X. Alright, so another really good background screen here, I think, with some absolutely like awesome cityscape in the background, some great stars and planetoids and such as well. Oh, almost got there. We'll be okay. A little sloppy, but that's all right. Alright, so we switch over. If you look closely, you can see a little bit of a broken window there. And we're just going to break it a little more. Now we have some grasshoppers we have to deal with. And unfortunately, they don't jump at consistent times, so it can be very hard to kill them if they don't jump when you expect them to. Alright. It's a Mega Man 6 reference. It's the only place where you'll see 4 Mega Man 1-ups right there. Don't blink, you'll miss this next boss if all things go according to plan. This boss does not have invincibility frames, so... I think that's one of the fastest bosses, if not the fastest boss in the original 6 games, from door enter to teleport out, I think. So, on to X2. Not the game, but the stage. Yeah, see, super confusing. Got these drill things going. So, not a lot to say in this stage. It's mostly just moving around, and I'll use the jet a little bit. But so just want to say, you know, if you're thinking about it, you should check out the exclamation point donate. Strongly recommend. It's for a great cause, and every penny donated will go towards Random Acts. So it's pretty awesome. I always love to do stuff like this with RGL. So if you're thinking about it all, make sure you hit that button and you know, go do it. It's a good thing. All right. Try not to die. It's a lot of pink and purple in this stage. It's a nice, you know, it's calming colors, but stressful stage is what I would say. This is the wall climber, and this is, I mean, this might be the worst boss in the game. This enemy here, because he just, unless I can kind of get him to sit in one spot and not move too much. And all right, that was pretty clean. It was pretty clean. Heck yeah. All right, so we're on to our third X stage. So so we're on to X3. Again, not the Mega Man game, the stage. So confusing. I'll switch over to Jet, and we're basically going to be in Jet the entire stage here, right? Because there's a fair bit of verticality, but the larger thing is that there's a lot of pits and things that we are going to skillfully avoid if all things go according to plan. Alright, we switch here real fast so that we can charge specifically for that enemy. And because these next few rooms have a fair bit of flat surfaces that we can slide on, it makes sense to make that change there and eat the time that you have to eat to make the change from the Jet to just your standard... Well, I don't think I could make that mistake twice again if my life depended on it. I'm not gonna lie. Missed with the charge shot, and because of the way that that works, you can't have another lemon on screen when there's a charge shot. Or when there's a charge shot on screen, so I just had to wait. And we're just gonna take that super cautious and fly all the way up in the corner. Alright, let's see if we can do it. Punch, punch, punch! Alright. So this fella here, this is Matongar Z. That's actually his name. It is Matongar Z. They didn't want to go with Matongar X. They thought it might have been like brand infringement or something. I don't know. But we have to get close to him to hit him with these charge shots, because you can see they only go just like a little bit in front of you. But he's out. Poof. Alright, so this is X4. We're finally going to lay eyes on the big bad. Super excited. Now this honestly might be the most difficult stage in the game, so if I die here, do not necessarily be surprised. It is easily, I think, the scariest stage. There are a handful of places where it's very easy to just take a hit and fall into a pit and die. So let's... Now that I've spoken it into existence, let's hope it doesn't happen. So we bust out our Night Crusher. It's very convenient because it does just enough damage to kill all of those things in one hit. Unfortunately, we didn't quite make that jump. But we made all the others. Should be able to walk up. Oh! Just a bit outside. Alright. Again, couldn't do that again if I tried a bit. Have to be careful. If your crusher shots hit at the same time, only one will do damage, and the enemy will still be there. So you have to stagger them in a way that if they take different trajectories to the enemy, you can make sure that you don't, basically connect at the same time and both waste ammo and likely take damage. Gotta kill that guy, otherwise he'll snipe you right out of the air. Alright, what do I got? I don't have any E-tanks, but I do have tons of lives, so let's see how this goes. Punch, 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 punch. Here's Mr. X. Alright, let's get ready. Just juggle this fool. And, alright. See what's going on here. Failed D. Missed a letter. Still have enough. Dr. Wily? Every time. It's always the same guy. Every damn time. Well, at least we get a more original motif. Skulls! Alright, so we have 4 more castle stages. Hooray! You didn't get rid of me just yet. Sorry, everybody. This is another heavy jet usage stage, and this is pretty vertical, but it's sort of necessary to do a couple of other things that we're doing here. So we're going to toe tap just real brief. I'm going to slide down here, going to start hitting our jet on the screen early, and not switch over apparently. If you don't start your jet the screen before that, you can't make it to this room, so you have to know it's coming. Alright, so you come down there. Those spikes will get you if you're not holding left as you fall. But that saves a ton of nonsense that you don't want to deal with. It's not very fun, honestly. And we get to skip all of it, so we do. Take a couple of D-boosts here. I do that mostly because I want to try to maintain as much ammo as I can for this next boss. So one of the weird things in Mega Man 6 here, beyond all the other weird stuff I've already mentioned, is so this weapon, the Yamato Spear, travels at I think 5 pixels per frame. The hitbox on this enemy's head is 4 pixels wide. So it absolutely can land at a place where it just misses it entirely. So I always shoot 2. It's more reliable. But that's why I try to conserve the ammunition, because I burn through it, and I need it for the boss refights, which are upcoming. It can't be a Mega Man game without boss refights, right? So when you didn't see him at Mr. X, everybody had to be wondering, like, wait a minute, where are the refights? This is a boss battle, and we're not getting our boss rebattles, and that feels like you're getting shortchanged, especially in a Mega Man game. And folks, I would agree with you. And don't you worry, we've got refights upcoming shortly. This is, I think, the shortest stage in the game by time. At least if you use it. Cool little shortcut we just did. Oh, missed. Almost. But we have enough flame we can kill 1 more of these mad nerds. 2 more of these mad nerds. We'll switch over to wind, and wind is cool because watch what it does. Just, bye guys. Check it out. They're gone. Just go by. Whoosh. It's a Fulton recovery system. Just sending them up, sending them back to outer heaven. Hey, cut that out. Alright, that weird-looking tank is dead. Alright, we are on to our refight stage. There's a little bit of water stuff beforehand. There's some cool movement here. Hopefully it goes well. Fingers crossed. But so I also do want to say thank you so much to RGL for doing this and for you know, accepting this run and all of the good work that they do behind the scenes. It's a lot of effort to put these on, so I always like to say thank you to them because, you know, they don't have to do this, but they do because they're good folk. And you know, big thanks to them. And I do also want to point out there's a ton of Mega Man coming up, which, I mean, if you love Mega Man, and I do, you know, you should stick around because there's a lot more Mega Man coming your way, and who doesn't love that? Alright, well, so here's our refights. Hopefully they go pretty well. See how many rolls we get. Oh, look at this. Helps to jump. That one I actually really screwed up on. There we go. You'd almost think I knew what I was doing. One of the especially nice things about Mega Man 6, I think from a speedrunning perspective, is that your refights in this game, in some games, you're moving around all over the room because it's easier to change weapons fewer times or something like that. Not here. You just figure out what boss you're fighting, go in order, and switch to their weakness and rock and roll. I really like that, personally. It's easy. It's like, who am I fighting? Oh, look, it's Tomahawk Man. All right, cool. Well, I'll just pull out my plant barrier here. We'll just walk over there and give him a little bit of the plant shield from the old what for. Hey, cut it out. There's only one time where you want to make sure that you beat or you change before you leave the room, and it's actually this room after this fight. So, Windman, who we finally get to fight with his weakness, he's weak to Centaur Flash. We don't even have to look at him, we just have to do our attack. It's an all-screen attack. The only thing you gotta do here is you gotta respect the iframes, and we did it. So we switched to night there because if you do it in this room, for some reason, the game just takes forever to bring up your pause menu. So we call it the menu of 1,000 years. And I was just so slow on shooting Centaur Man that he got a time stopper off on me, and I am tremendously embarrassed. But he ain't gonna get me twice. So we have 3 more Robot Masters left, and then we get to fight Dr. Wily for real. Where's my spear? There it is. Couldn't find it for a second. He's just being a very jumpy boy with his attacks here. Alright. Now, we save Plant Man for last, and the reason for that is that the jump from here to those middle platforms is actually a really difficult jump to make, and it's easier to make it from the center, so that's the way I prefer to do it. We've got to try to minimize how many of these we waste, because this is the primary weapon that Dr. Wily is weak to in the next stage, and there's 3 phases, and they're all weak to Silver Tomahawk. So called because it is bronze, I guess. But let's see if we can maybe line this up. Nope, didn't get the line up that time. That's all right. Also, we're not really worried about our health anymore. We just really want to finish the enemies off as quickly as we can. See, that's a much easier jump than trying to do that from the very top. You bonk your head and it throws you back. You don't want to do any of that. That's no fun. Alright, so, fun fact. If you slide right there, you will not be able to pick up this weapon energy. It's a sub-pixel thing. You cannot slide off of that and then land on that platform. It won't work. Don't know why. So here we're coming into our final boss. 3 phases coming our way. I want to say thank you again to everybody for having me. I'll be back later this weekend. I got a Ghostbusters 2 run in the wee hours at some point. I hope you check it out. It's actually a pretty cool game. Oh, that might get him. That might get him. Oh, I got him. All right. All right, final phase. See how it goes. Oh, missed one. Ah, gotta be careful now. All right, last shot. Time. All right. And that is Dr. Wily. And for the first time on the NES, we actually get him. He doesn't get away this time. We got him. That weirdo with the eyebrows and the mustache is behind bars. He's out of here in the year 20XX. Thank you all so much. Stick around. There's more Mega Man coming your way. Look forward to watching it myself, and I look forward to seeing y'all again a little later tonight. So thank you so much. And again, if you're thinking about it, donate. Do it. Don't even think about it. Stop thinking about it. Just do it. And with that, peace out, everybody. See you later.